In today's lecture class, we are going to discuss about exception handling keywords. Okay. So in last class, we have seen about the exception handling. What do you know about exception? Exception is nothing but what it is an unexpected error in the program that we consider what exception. That is what you have seen in the last class. But today we are going to discuss about the different exception handling keywords. How we are going to handle that exception. For that we need different keywords. That is what we are going to see today. So first basic keywords is that try and catch block. So we are having different keywords there. Now generally we call it as try, catch, then throw, throws, finally. These are the different keywords we are going to discuss in our exception handling. But first thing, what is the basic exception handling keywords in the exception is that try and catch block. So what do you call as a Java try block? Java try block is used to enclose the code that might throw an exception. So what is the meaning for this? Nothing but see the syntax here, syntax for try catch block. So this is a try block. In this, if any exception occurs means that code may throw an exception. So that exception you are going to put it in the try block. That is the meaning here. It must be used within the method. Okay. So if an exception occurs at the particular statement in the try block, so that exception statement alone will not get executed. The rest of the code will be not execute. Okay, that is what the meaning here. So if an exception occurs at the particular statement in the try block, this try block, okay, the rest of the block code will not be executed. So see this syntax here, syntax of try catch block. Here I am giving try block here. If any code if any code getting an exception, so that you are going to put it in the try block. So how you are going to see what type of exception that? So that one we don't know which type of exception that is. So for that we are going for the catch block. Okay. So if any exception occurs means, for example, if you are getting any errors in the numbers, or if you are having any errors in the mistakes in the arrays. So for that we are having some different names. For numbers we are saying that arithmetic exception, and for arrays we are simply called as an array out of bound exception. So if you are giving the limited size, if you are declaring array size is 5, but you are entering a maximum of elements, what will the program, whether the program will be executed? No, it will show an out of bound exception. So that type of exception, how you are mentioning means in the catch block. That is what given here. Catch block is nothing but which type of exception you are going to get it in try block, that you are going to mention it in the catch block. So next, try finally block. So another keyword is that finally. So finally, if you are mentioning a finally here, in this finally block, whatever you are getting in exception in the try block, once it is get solved means after finally, the coding will be, it's constant only. Next, it will not be going to modify it. That is what the final keyword will do. Next one, Java catch block. So what is its main purpose is? It is used to handle the exception by declaring the which type of exception within the parameter. That we have seen in the example. No, I already mentioned it. Which type of error we are getting. So that reference name, that is exception name, will get display here, and it is looking at a reference here. So Java try block will be doing this one only. So Java try catch block. Once you are comparing these two, what you are getting means whether the exception is handled or not. Okay. But if it is handled, if it is not handled means what the JVM will do means it will following some of the tasks. It will perform the following task. What do you call as in JVM? First, you have to understand what do you call as in JVM. There is Java Virtual Machine. Okay, JVM is nothing but Java Virtual Machine. If the exception is handled, if the exception is not handled, okay. Once it is not handled means it performs, prints out the exception description. Okay, first. The next, it prints the stack trace. Okay, so it is nothing but hierarchy of the methods where the exception is occurred. Okay, and it causes the program to terminate. See this example program, you will get the different task here. Okay, see this example, without this program without exception handling. Okay, So see this program, try catch example1.java. That is our class name is try catch example1 is our class name here. And I'm going to call this method try catch example1, and I'm going to call the next main function here. So public static void main now string argument I'm passing here. In this main function, I'm going to give the int data equal to 50 by 0. So int data equal to 50 by 0, I'm declaring here. That is integer data type I'm declaring. That may show an exception. It will throw an exception. So what type of exception it is? We know that we manually know that by seeing, we know that it is an arithmetic exception. That is, both are the numbers. Once any number is divided by 0, we will not get an answer. Yes or no? We will not get a result. So if anything divided by, there is a 0 by anything means you will get the answer as 1. But anything divided by 0 will not get the answer. So that we show an exception. Okay. So next system.println, rest of the code will not be displayed. So this is what the JVM will do. See here, the exception here in this program, exception is not handled. That's why you are giving mention as problem without exception handling. Here the exception is not handled, but in the output, it shows that exception in thread main java.language arithmetic exception. So that is what given here. Print out exception description and prints the stack trace. Okay. So where the method is, and we are getting the solution by exception handling. It will give the solution by exception handling. Let me see with another example program with the exception handling using try catch block. The same example program, instead of example 1, I'm giving the class name as example 2. So public static void main function. In the main function, I'm going to call this try block and catch block. Here I'm giving the same exception, that is int data equal to 50 by 0 with throw in exception. So how we are going to handle the exception? In the catch block, okay, catch arithmetic exception. It will display what type of exception it is. So we know that it is arithmetic exception. So that is what you are mentioning in the catch block. And system.out.println of, you are giving the exception E. And next you are going to print the system.out.println. The rest of the code will be displayed. So see this output here. Here the exception is handled or not? Yes, handled. In the try block, it throw an exception and it will be handled by the catch block. So next, what will the output will be? Java.language arithmetic exception by 0. So remaining code will be executed. So where the exception will occur means that exception will be put in the catch block, and remaining whatever program, rest of the code that are going to execute on the program. Okay, that is what in this output, rest of the code will be executed. So next, let us see an example to resolve the exception in a catch block. Okay, so how we are going to see? Now we have seen that in try and catch block, we use in try and catch block. We know that any exception occurs means we are going to put it in the try block, and the exception handled by the catch block. That we know. But instead of numbers, we are not declaring the data int data equal to 50. We are directly going with the data. You are going to directly declare the data type and variables, and for the array variables, we are declaring the values directly in the main function. What will happen? See this example program. That is what given here. Int I equal to 50. Int j equal to 0. Int data. So all the variables. What are the variables declaring here? I, j, and data. What is the data type declaring here? Int. So see this try block. I am declaring data equal to I by j. We know that I value is 50 and j value is 0. So after that is after dividing these values, what will get an answer? We will throw in an exception. We will not get the answer. So we are going to handle this in the catch block. So we are going to resolve the exception in catch block. How we are going to resolve the exception in the catch block means system.out.println of I divided by j plus 2. So what is the I value here? 50 divided by j plus 2. So we know that j value is what? 0. So once it is divided by 0 only, we are getting the exception. Whether it is any value means we will not get the error. So I divided by j plus 2. So 0 plus 2, we will get the answer as 2. So 50 divided by 2, what is the answer we are getting? 25. So that is what in the output. 25 is the answer, and Java catch different multiple exception. Okay. So this is our next. Here I'm giving now. That is next heading is Java catch multiple exceptions. That is what given in this next page. So Java, what is our next topic is that how we are going to handle the multiple catch, that is multiple exceptions using multiple catch blocks. So that is what we are going to see in the next topic, Java multi-catch block. Okay. So see this flowchart diagram here. The rest of the theoretical experts are what are the theoretical lines we are giving here. That and all we are going to discuss in this flowchart itself. See this, we are executing any try block. Okay, we will get two type of answer. That is, if you are going for if condition, you will get either true or a false, like that. If you are going to execute try block, whether it is exception or no exception. Okay. So if it is exception means what you are going to do, find appropriate catch block to execute. Okay. So which type of exception it is. So whether it is 50 divided by 0 means you'll get, you know that this arithmetic exception, or you are getting any array bound of exception, you're going to put in the array out of bound exception, like that you are going to mention it. Okay. We are having different type of exceptions. Okay. So if no exception is, we no need to go for this block. Okay. Different exception blocks. We directly going with the output. Execute statement out of try catch block. See this with an example program. You can understand deeply. See, multiple class, what is the class name given here? Class multi-catch block 1. So here I'm declaring the main function here. I'm going for the try block int a of equal to new int of 5. So int a of means what? This representation is simply called as what? It is an array representation. We know that it is an array representation. So a of 5 equal to 30 divided by 0. That is what I'm giving is. So a of 5 is what? There is int of 5 is what? For a, we are declaring the size as 5. Maximum number of element is 5. So array of 5, array of 5 equal to, that is size 5 equal to 30 divided by 0 you are declaring here. So in this next statement, that is next block, catch arithmetic exception will occur. That is 30 divided by 0. We know that it is an arithmetic exception. So system.out.println arithmetic exception occurs, or else we know we are declaring here as array. Now, instead of we are not going with a equal to int a equal to 30 by 0. We are going with the int array of, that is a of 5 equal to 30 by 0. This means it is an array. So for that also we are giving the exception here. Catch array index out of bound exceptions E. So system.out.println array index out of bound exception occurs. So this is our next catch block. So if it is, we know this diagram now. In this diagram, we simply say that if there is no exception, we are going to the execute statement out of try catch block. So this is our next statement. Catch exception system.out.println parent exception only occurs, or else you are going with the system.out.println. Rest of the code will be displayed in the output. So what will the output for this program? Just any guesses? Whether it is maybe it is an array out of bound exception or arithmetic exception. Yes, your guess is right. This one is array, not array out of array index out of bound exception. It is arithmetic exception. Why means here we directly declare as e of 5 equal to 30 by 0. Okay, we are declaring that 30 divided by 0. So what is this one? This is an array arithmetic numbers. Okay, that is what arithmetic exception occurs. Well, students, now you understand. Once again repeating what you have discussed in the today's class is that how you are going to handle the exception using try catch block. The next, for that we have seen with an example program in try block. If any exception occurs, you are going to put it in the try block and it should be handled by the catch block. And you are going to mention which type of exception it is. The next we are seeing the how we are going to get a solution for the exception in the catch block. Okay, so that is what that we have seen on another example. If any exception occurs, in the try block, you are going to handle in the catch block. For this, you are giving this one as an example program. So next we are seeing about the how we are going to handle the exceptions in multiple catch blocks. Okay. So what type of exception it is? So that is if you are having multiple catches, you will like this in this example program. Here we are having a confusion, whether it is an array exception or arithmetic exception. With like that, we will having some kind of doubt. So how we are going to handle this? Using the different multiple catches. So in this multiple catches, what type of exception it is that you are going to get in using the catch block, different catch block that we call it as what? Multiple catch blocks. Okay. So let me finish up to this. Later we are going to see it in next class. Thank you.